Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. Tonight, I'm here all alone, and I'll be talking to you in some serious manners. Uh, uh, my buddy, my good friend, my lawyer, my Ezra Levy had to go away tonight, so he left me all alone by myself with my producer's son. But he's standing over there, he's waving his fingers, he's telling me to move over, or he tells me I'm fat. But I lost a lot of weight. I'm 52 pounds down, everybody. Matter of fact, my trainer told me today I look so good I don't need him, but I told him no, I'm still going to use him. I'm still going to do training. Anyways, we have a lot of personal things to talk about tonight. I also have stuff to talk about the city, talk about the elections, and most importantly, everybody, and this is very important, I want to show you these papers that were served to me yesterday by State Senator Simcha Felder. How now, after the Board of Elections put me on the ballot for the independent Borough Park Flatbush Party, Simcha Felder is now suing me for doing fraud, double signing signatures, double petitions. I mean, this guy doesn't want me to get on the ballot. He spent $185,000 to date. I mean, I'm already up to a full $792, and with the parking and the stuff that I have to go Friday to court, I might just hit about $900, and that's bad because that could have been 2 suits that I wanted to buy for myself. But looks like I'm not going to buy any suits because $900 went for parking and lunch, and I can't even finish the lunch because I'm on a diet. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about issues about our mayor, and most importantly, my greatest news to all of you that we're going to really discuss. And if you want, you could, I don't even know how, I can't even see it, but if you want, you could send me a message on the Just Enough Heshy YouTube show link, website, whatever, the chat. You can send me any questions that you want. Next week, maybe, or the following week, or if we're back on, I don't even know, we'll have a phone number for you to call in, and we'll start taking phone calls again. And, of course, you can watch me on Facebook, Just Enough Heshy, and I don't know, YouTube, Just Enough Heshy, and I post my links and stories, but it's very funny. But I want you to know, I was at I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. In the meantime, I got to start a commercial, and my favorite commercial, of course, how we always start the show, is Plaza Auto Leasing. Plaza Auto Leasing, they're not only a leasing company, but they're also a dealership. You get the best of both worlds, the flexibility to lease or buy any vehicle, make or model, combined with quick service, huge inventory, and easy approvals. There's no finance manager to meet with, just a friendly pal, sales representative that can handle most of your transactions from start to finish, without you even having to step a foot in the office. All you have to do is place your order, and they'll even deliver your car right to your door. What are you waiting for? Become a pal and call Plaza Auto Leasing today. You can reach Plaza Auto Leasing at 718-975-9000, 718-975-9000. Ezra, what's that number? Oh, he's not even here. See, I miss him already. You can also check out their website at www.plazaautoleasing.com. You know, everything's on the bottom of the screen there. Located at 2750 Nostrand Avenue, on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Avenue N. Call 718-975-9000. Become a pal today, and don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy told you to call 718-975-9000. Very good people. I'm very happy I got my car over there. We're going to start our show. But, of course, you know, I always have a joke and a quote. And, of course, nobody's here to laugh this week, so I'm hoping you laugh. Let me see if there's any questions on the chat. Zeldin for governor again. Well, we have no choice. We can't have Hochul. I mean, look at this idiot. She comes into my neighborhood. She doesn't wear masks, surrounded by many religious Hasidic men. Surrounded, you know what I mean? She wasn't even dressed so nice and religiously or whatever, or I forgot the proper word, you know, her attire to be, what's the word over there? I forgot, you know, nice and, you know, nice, whatever, you know, and with a short little mini skirt, and they all surrounded her. And now she's all of a sudden saying, oh, kids might not need masks for next year's school. Oh, wow, thank you, like we were going to do it anyway. Some of these people are crazy, you know. Like today I was giving blood. Nobody was wearing masks. By the way, you should all give blood. Did I tell you that I am B plus or B positive? I thought that was great that everybody could use it, but pretty much B plus or B positive can only give to B positives. But it's still a great blood. I'm not an A. I don't even know what A is. My kids are A's. I don't know why they're A's and I'm B's. You see how I make better kids than myself? But Again, no masks. You should go out and give blood. I did already, and I think it's a very good thing. Anyways, here is my quote for the day. And this quote is by one of my favorite people of all time, a great American, a guy who was there for the Declaration of Independence, the man who helped us get friends from France when we were at war and revolution with the English, and that, of course, you know, is Benjamin Franklin. And it's a very simple quote. Any society that gives up a little liberty to gain a little security will deserve neither and lose both. And what is that quote for you today? I'm going to tell you what that quote is about. In my community, we had election for, and we're going to have election for state senator, and we had election for district leader, which I was one of the three. And I spoke to one of the inside people, and it was a guy by the name of Penny Ringo, which I, on video, congratulated him yesterday at a barbecue for all the politicians that somehow by mistake they invited me. My son loved it. Oh, the food was great. I'm telling you, when I spoke to the caterer, he said they spent over $225,000 to feed these people. Explain to me why they would make a barbecue to have the Attorney General and a bunch of these politicians complaining how we're struggling with people not being able to pay their rent. We're struggling with food because all the shelves are short. Gas prices are up. Taxes are up. The inflation is terrible. And they're complaining about it. But all these people are eating these fancy, gorgeous meals over there. I'm happy I ate there. It was a free meal for me. So that was not part of my budget. And I worked the room. I spoke to a lot of the people. And I was speaking to some of the people that are my friends over there. They said, listen, Heshy, we had to vote for Penny Ringo. The mayor of New York City promised the community, if you get Penny Ringo, certain synagogues and certain organization, $160 million. I said, that's the deal you made? I said, if I would have been elected, I would have spoken to you. He says, no, we're guaranteed by the mayor. And that's why Penny Ringo won. Now, I congratulate him on. I'm hoping he does a good job. I'm not angry with him as a person. I'm angry with him because when the pandemic was around and he was Mayor Deblasio, terrible man, sidekick, what did he do? He called me. He says, Heshy, if you open the locks, we're going to arrest you. Heshy, if you make that carnival, we're going to arrest you. Heshy, you better stop. And I kept calling him. Let me speak to the mayor. Let me tell him to stop giving violations. Let me tell him to at least try to work with us, not to come after us, not to embarrass us. He wouldn't do it. So now he supported Mayor Adams, which I did also in the beginning for mayor, and this guy, David Schwartz, supported Yang. The mayor got angry, and they made a whole big fuss. Now, we have 30-something thousand people that vote in the local election just in our community. Only 4,400 or 300 came out. They got the bigger group to vote for Penny Ringo because they were promised money. Explain that to me. And now people are coming to me for help. There was a fire in a synagogue the other day. They needed help. This morning I got 2 vacates, people back in their families. HPD inspector called me from the director called me. He says, Heshy, you have to come down now. We need you to authorize some and approve something that the judge put you in charge of. I said, I'm not coming. I said, I'm going to come on Friday when I want to come at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He says, what do you mean? You come now. I said, you don't command me. I said, I work for the people, not for you. My job is to watch the city. Anyways, the director says, when you come there, Heshy, don't abuse our inspectors. I said, I won't, but if your inspectors are bad, I'm going to punish them. So what happened was today I was in the Bronx, and I met a wonderful inspector. Came in, everything by the book, everything was pretty and nice, and he walked out. He says, I hope you don't get any more violations, and I'm approving that you could move back into the building, and I like the job. And I said to him, Inspector, you seem like a normal person. I mean, during the pandemic, he says, what did you do? And he tells me, I want you to know, I was there with the meetings. This is a serious organization, a serious department at the DOB. He says, I didn't give anybody violations during COVID. I didn't go into those stores. I was against it. He said, that was despicable what a lot of those inspectors did. And he said, the inspectors got bonuses. They got hazard pay. That's why they came after us. Do you believe that? That's why they came after us. And our mayors, both previous and now, allowed this to happen. I had to defend a young lady that was in a store. She was behind the counter, and they only allowed one person at a time, and the inspector saw two. They gave her a criminal ticket. And if she didn't show up this week, which I hired Ezra to go defend her, she would have gone to jail or had a warrant against her. Plus, she got $1,000 fine. We defended her. We got the case dismissed. But again, they gave her a penalty because she let more than one person in the store. I mean, how does this go on? How do we still, all the politicians promise to work with us. The mayor, the state senator, the councilman, the assemblyman, and I like them. Everybody says, Heshy, you're always fighting with them. I'm fighting with them when they're wrong. Like today, I gave blood to Maimonides Hospital. Oh, Heshy, didn't you make a protest? Didn't you hate what Maimonides did? 2 years later, now the politicians are coming out, oh, we're extremely upset with Maimonides Hospital. And I like the boss over there, Mr. Joblin. He's a friend of mine. I like Maimonides Hospital, a lot of the people that work there. But again, when they're understaffed, when the administration doesn't care, and they take on the governor's stupid edict and mandate, and they kill people, and you can't sue them. And I'm talking thousands have died. Now that besides the 1,400, an additional 2,000 people died. Oh, wow. We woke up. We're upset with Maimonides Hospital. So actually, why did you give blood? Because I'll tell you why. Blood is needed for other people. I'm still going to go there and volunteer. I'm still going to go there and visit. I'm not going to stop doing good because that organization is bad. We do have to improve them. We do have to watch them. We do have to be upset with them. We have to let our voices be heard. And that's my very simple quote today. If you want to give up a little liberty just to get some money or to get ahead, you're the only one, but the rest of them are not getting ahead. The rest of them, we're going to lose both. We're going to lose our liberties. We're going to lose the money at the end. We're going to lose everything. This is a new world order, but the new world order is really the same world order as before. Nothing has changed. Yeah, our technology is better. We have better housing sometimes. But explain to me what the new world order is. Gas is up. We still have the same inflation problems. We still have homelessness. Hey, I did a video this week with a guy running for Congress, Brian Robinson, against ex-Mayor Deblasio. And we're pushing this guy, Brian Robinson. And I'm knocking Deblasio wherever we go. You won't believe it. De Blasio's numbers were down. Just like I got rid of Governor Cuomo, I was one of the first ones to tell them to go after him. Mayor de Blasio dropped out of the race. Yes, I take credit for it. Yes, I take credit for pushing Brian Robinson and helping him with signatures. Yes, I take credit for always instigating and talking bad about Mr. de Blasio. He doesn't deserve to come back. And I was scared for a while because he came into my community. He apologized for having people die, apologized for anti-Semitism, for people being beaten up, for embarrassing our community, for closing our schools. I want to tell you something, guys. I want to talk to you about crime in New York City, but first I'm going to tell you my joke. I want you to laugh a little bit before I get serious. When the boys were little, we were joking about, they were getting 13, 14, about girlfriends and about getting married. So I was bragging. I says, when I was younger and single, the ladies used to chase after me left and right, I said to my boys. And so the boys went over to my wife, Linda, and says, Mommy, is it true that Daddy was chased by all the girls? And she said, well, maybe it was being chased away, but that was about it. Linda's always too funny. She has too quick of a comeback. I don't know. But I'm going to take Linda away, and there's going to be a big surprise for you in 3 months when my grandson is born. They told me I'm having twins. Then they told me I'm not having twins. They played a game on me. Either way, I feel it's going to be a boy. I want you guys all to come out. I want you all to have a good laugh. I'm going to invite the whole world to this party. It's going to be the greatest party you've ever seen. I don't care if you're Jewish or black or Chinese or green. I want you to come. You're going to have a lot of good food. You're going to celebrate with me. And if it's a girl, we will, I'm not sad, we're going to be happy because I like my little granddaughters. I love them so much. And I'm giving a shout out to Sergeant Peter and my friend Ellie. And most importantly, my granddaughters Mira Nava and Layla Tamar. Wonderful, wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful girls. They make me happy all the time. There was, again, I want to tell you about the barbecue. So I'm sitting at the barbecue. I meet the Attorney General, Letitia James. I met Senator Felder over there, and I went over to him. I said, "Hello, how you doing? Why are you doing this?" And he says, "Well, God and all that." And I let him introduce him to my son. He said my son was great. He gave my son an A because besides being a senator, he's also a teacher. You know, and when he gets up on stage yesterday, it was so funny. He gets up there and he says, "I want to tell you, 20, 30, I'm laughing. I'm just watching this, and I couldn't believe it. Like 200 or 300 people are listening to this. He gets up and says, "I want to tell you what I did. 20, 30 people came over to me and complained." And I posted this on my video. He says, and people came over to me and complained. They complained they couldn't get the key to the bathroom. And he says, "You know what I did? I got the key to the bathroom, and I did it all myself." Now, here's a man who you don't hear from for 2 years. I'm trying to run against. Here's a man who takes no credit, has not shown up in Albany for 2 years. Here's a man who did not come out against the mask mandates, who did not come out against fines for the local community, who helped the Met Council take $70 million to build low-income housing, and not one person in our community gets it. When somebody goes to jail and comes home, he says, "Well, you were in jail. I can't write you a letter of good conduct to help you with a job. You're a convict or a felon, and I don't associate with them." Here's a man who just doesn't care about his community, just about his reputation and about his pension. Now, somebody's got to explain to me. You want to vote for him again? Be my guest. Again, here it is. You want to get your little gifts? You know, he has a couple of big developers like Leon Goldenberg who tried to steal my building. And he threw a lot of money at him. And this guy got a lot of COVID money as well. Now, us people who were out of work got COVID money as well. Right now, the city and state is coming back, or the government saying, if you did not go and even try to get a job during COVID, we want the money back. The reason you got the money was because it's COVID, you were unemployed. The reason you got the money because most of the places were closed. Now you want the money back if they didn't try to get an interview? How could you get an interview if nobody was going to hire you anyways? Oh, you should have tried. And they're asking back for the money. And if you don't give the money back, it could be a criminal thing that you criminally took the money without following all the rules. This is the way we work. This is the way your city and government works. Don't you think it's time for a change? Don't you think you need an independent voice? I don't really care if you vote for me or not. I'm going to keep trying. People say to me, "Heshy, why are you doing this? Why do you keep going? Why do you embarrass yourself?" What is it? You embarrass me? You lock me up? You know what? I defend hundreds of people every week. I feed hundreds of people. I don't want to brag about it, but our soup kitchen, our visiting of the sick every week, our children that we take in, the felons that I go visit in jail and try to help when they come out to rehabilitate, to try to give them a place to live. Me and Linda buy our own house. We're serious. We take them into our own house. We feed every week. Last week, we had, I think it was like 3 or 4 kids that came over, and we were talking to them. The week before, I had all my family there, but last week we had 3 or 4 kids, and they were telling me, a lot of them, that how come you're against drugs and marijuana? This is a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old telling me this. And they're upset with me, and a lot of the kids are screaming, "Marijuana is legal." Now, these are kids. They are telling me that marijuana should be legal, which they can't touch it till they're 21. But still, they know that when it hits the streets and it becomes legit, they're going to be able to access it. And they do smoke it. You think that's normal, that you wake up in the morning with a hangover, or they're smoking a spliff on the way to school and they're sitting in their class stoned? You think that marijuana is a good thing? Oh, it's not as bad as the other stuff? It's bad. It's bad. How do we legitimize it? The war on drugs is not hard enough. That's what they're not trying. But they know how to stop tickets. They know how to put cameras all over. Simcha Felder has approved the cameras to be 365/24. Now, let me explain to you what that means. You're right, it's a camera ticket. You only get $50 and no points on your license. But if your car, you, your wife, your kid, your mother, the person you lent it to, and they get the tickets of the red light, the speeding, or whatever it is on that camera, you now have to take a refresher driving course or you lose your license. But it wasn't me driving. Doesn't make a difference. This is what our city has come to. They know how to do that. They know how to come to your homes and arrest you for nothing. Really, for nothing. I saw a guy being pulled over because he threw something out the window. You're right. My sanitation people are good men. I love them. I give them waters. I speak to them all the time. They're the hardest working people out there. They care. They work in the heat, the snow, the cold. Wow. What a great group of people. But sanitation people still, they don't like when you do garbage. And one of those guys pulled him over and gave him a ticket. I'm happy he wasn't arrested. But again, this is what our city has come to, fining and punishing and taking our liberties away. The new order, I remember when as a kid, the freedom of going, of not being our phone calls listened into. Today they get court orders in 24 hours. 24 hours they got after I finally got on the ballot, followed all the rules, and I did everything that they said last time that I didn't do, of going to the Board of Elections, of fighting it. They didn't do it. They didn't submit their objections in writing. They didn't follow the 8 days that they had to do it. And you know what? They now are able to go to court, supersede the Board of Elections, and are able to try to throw me off the ballot. And Friday, I'm going to have to go to the same judge and give the same argument they did. And you're going to see the judge says, well, Mr. Tischler, well, their argument was different last time. Same argument. None of the arguments are different. I fight administrative law violations for people all the time. And it's the same 10, 12 codes and violations that come up. There's always something different that pops up. And it's the same arguments. It's the same proof of evidence. Sometimes we win, sometimes it's not. It's not a different argument. It's the same mistakes that the people make. It's not so much different. And I'm talking in the billions of dollars. I'm talking in the tens of thousands of violations issued every single month. How is that possible that all of us are guilty of criminal effects? Anyways, so let me tell you a little bit more. I was reading the crime statistics that your mayor has no handle on whatsoever. Today they're stealing calibrated converters or something from under the cars. And they're stealing it, so when they rob you, this hurts your car, and it's very hard for you to drive, and it's a big thing. What's it called again? I forgot what it's called. Let me see if somebody knows what it's called. I don't know. Calibrated converter. Oh, thank you. Somebody said Heshy for state senate. Very good. And yes, all they do is want the money and power. Somebody's telling me. But the calibrated converters. Now, when they steal it from your car, there's no serial number on it. So when they do catch the criminals, they arrest them. And what are you going to do with these converters? Nothing. You don't know which car it's from. You don't know who got it. They're not going to give it back to somebody who just made a police report. I believe the city should put serial numbers on all of them. This is a program that somebody told me about. We put these calibrated converters with serial numbers. When they're robbed and you go into a store and you see a serial number on there, hey, what are you doing with this auto shop? It belongs to a particular car. I hope you bought the car. If not, you arrest them. Somebody's found recalibrated converters in his car, and even if the serial number is scraped out, you arrest him. These are the programs we should be worried about. The mayor's crime has no control. His inflation, his gas prices, this is his city. He's got everything here. Tourism is down. Just the economy in New York City is terrible. He has no control. Yeah, let's give more funding. But again, the funding that he gives to the low-income housing doesn't go to low-income families. It goes to special organizations that have their people on the list. You try to sign up for the Met Council's low-income housing in Mill Basin. I promise you won't get it. We just opened up a homeless shelter here in Borough Park against our wishes. They took apartment buildings that do not qualify, that are not compliant to the proper homeless shelter procedure. And you know what they did? They decided that they're going to give 70% away and 30% to the homeless people, and 30% will go to a lottery for people with low-income housing. Don't you think the lottery should be for the people in the community? They gave it out all over the city. Not one person in this community got it. The developers who live in Jersey, who live in beautiful mansions so they don't have to live next to the homeless, got $40 million in tax breaks. Tax breaks. So they don't have to pay taxes. They collect rent. They're ruining our community, our houses that we took so long to build up. And this is what your mayor does. They don't know how to do it. We have solutions. And let me tell you your crime statistics for the week. Major crimes are up 37%. Not 10%, 37%. You're going to love this. 26 people were shot in 3 days over the weekend, and 3 are dead. Listen to this one. We have 46% increase in grand larceny, 49% increase in robbery, 39% felony assault, 11% in burglary, and here you're going to love this the most, 11% in rapes. 11% in rapes. Major crimes, 37%. Explain to me, Mayor Adams, what are you doing? I mean, I know Deblasio was bad, but he had the COVID to stop us. You have nothing to stop us. You have a police force. You have a new police chief. Your police are scared and shivering because of everything you tell them to do. They're scared. You're telling him, you know what? Just go give tickets. Stand on the corner and stop cars. You know, I had an inspector arrested the other week. 5 cops showed up. The guy was wrong. He called the cops. Arrest him. Instead, they let him out. And he's going to do it again. And he continues to do it again. I'm a New York City employee. I can do whatever you want. Did you ever go to any of the New York City offices? They close at 2 o'clock. You and I work from 8:30 to 5:30 with overtime hours. These guys don't. 12 o'clock, their window shuts. Try to send them an email or call them. 20 calls. I will tell you to call Senator Felder's office. If he doesn't call you back after 85 calls, I don't know what. Councilman, Assemblyman Eichenstein is pretty good. He does call back. At least he calls me back and a few of the people that I recommend. But that's one of many few of them. And again, Eichenstein and Felder was standing over there after he made the toilet joke. Oh, wow, look what I did. I got somebody the key for the bathroom. And this is what he did. It took him a whole day to get keys for the bathroom for the people. I mean, I could have done it in a minute. I could have just kicked open the bathroom door for him or picked a lock. But instead, he needed to run around the whole day, get keys for these, go to the bathroom. That was his pride and joy instead of taking care of our government. And they said today, and on my video, you'll see, we are partners in crime. He wasn't joking. They are criminals. When they get to Albany, they make deals of criminal, in the billions of dollars. And we're paying for it. They're taking it out of our tax money. They're raising our taxes by 18% during COVID. They're raising it again now. You know, if you drive by somebody's house and he has an accounting office, he's an accountant. He wants to work from home. So he opens up and he puts his shingle in the thing and he works out of his basement. All of a sudden, the Department of Finance changes your house from a 1 or 2 family house to a commercial building. Why? Because I'm working out of your home. You can't have a business out of your house. Do you understand you can't run a business out of your house? A home business, an accounting, a nursing, a teaching, a tutoring business. At least don't advertise it because you're going to be increased in taxes. Is that correct? And to try to remove that takes you 2 years. You have to go to an architect for about $15,000, file a set of plans to revert back to the 2-family house, which that's what it was all along. Let me do another commercial. Maybe that'll make me smile. You know, every morning I laugh. You know, life is fun. I enjoy life. You know why? Because I woke up in the morning and I'm going to try to fight the challenges. And I have sad days and days of people dying and I have happy days of different events. But the truth of the matter is, I make fun of myself. I let the kids call me and make prank phone calls. I let the people on the street slap me on the back and say, oh, you're an entertainer. I'm not an entertainer. Sure, I try to make you laugh and I try to make my 3-minute videos to give you as much information as possible. And I don't want it to be boring. I'm bored sometimes when I'm listening to a politician. You're talking, I sometimes have to sit there and listen to them blabber on for 20, 30 minutes. And I'm telling myself in my head, how do I cut my wrists? Really, how do I cut it? And sometimes I want to scream the bad words, just shut the F up. I do control myself. You know why? Because we need them. They're the people in power. We have Ezra Levy, who's not here today, who's an attorney. He specializes in criminal matters, including weapons possession, drug offenses, domestic violence, theft offenses, assaults, and DWI, criminal and family court orders of protection. Hey, Ezra, with the crime rate up over 37% major crimes, you're going to be very busy. Call him at 917-755-1187. He'll protect you. Because a lot of us are just arrested over stupidity. 917-755-1187. Ezra Levy Law Firm at gmail.com. That's EZRALEVYLAWFIRM at gmail.com. 917-755-1187. He's really a good lawyer. He helped me. He protects me. You can call him for any crazy questions like you call me. People call me all day long for questions and ideas on their houses and the buildings. And I have constituent services, just like Senator Felder. But you know what? I don't go and open bathrooms for them. If they need a bathroom, I just point them. I said, find your way in there. Come on. And then, of course, we have my favorite lawyer who just won me a great ticket, won me another traffic ticket. I know you're saying, oh, Heshy, you get so many tickets. You know what? I don't speed. The light turns red or the cop stops the traffic. You're stuck in the middle. The red light camera goes off. What do you want from me? This is the way traffic is. There's no control in traffic. I came up with traffic ideas. I came up with ideas how to move traffic along. Today I was driving on 16th Avenue. 14 buses were loading up from different areas. You couldn't move. There are ways to move the traffic along. There's ways for them to park their buses and come right when the schools go out. Instead, no, they park there for 2-3 hours or at nighttime. In my community alone, we've lost over 4,000 parking spots. If you go to Long Island, it's genius. They have this big lot for all buses to park there. And the bus drivers park their cars when they pick up the bus, and then they park their bus and they take their cars back. That's the way it belongs. That's why you don't see buses anywhere in Long Island parked on the streets. Smart. We have one of my attorneys, the attorney's office of James Meadows. He's a high-ranked traffic lawyer, a former criminal lawyer, dedicated to all moving violations throughout New York State, and he's helped me. James has handled all points-related moving violations in New York City, Long Island, and upstate New York. Speeding, red lights, cell phones, stop signs, failure to lead, an improper turn, and traffic offenses with stiff penalties, including huge fines, points increased, insurance rates, suspension of your driver's license, and even being arrested. The law offices of James Meadows is your best bet in beating your traffic ticket. Call him. He's great. 845-TICKETS. That's 845-842-5387. That's 845-842-5387 or 845-TICKETS. Or you can text him at 856-1247, 917-856-1247, or email him at jamesmeadows@gmail.com. That's JAMESMEADOWS@gmail.com. Wonderful, wonderful man. And again, I had a young girl that called me. Says, Heshy, I have 4 traffic violations. I said, what do you mean you have 4? Well, when the cop pulled me over, I was in an accident like me, and somebody bumped my license plate, and it bumped open. They gave me a ticket. They pulled me over for my license being a small bent, which it really wasn't. I saw the picture of it. She showed me. She got a ticket for that. Then she got a ticket supposedly turning from the left lane to the right lane. But when the cars are double parked, you have no choice, and you can't keep cutting in. You're driving slow. You don't want to speed. Then she got something for a red light ticket. She claims that the guy says that she was making that left turn. The light turned red. She got it. I mean, the guy just wrote her tickets. This is what we're busy with. Crime, robbery, rape, all that is up. This is what we're busy with. Okay? I know, ladies and gentlemen, you think I'm ranting and raving. I'm giving you a point that this city is lost. We're all over the place. Let me see if we have any questions on the board here. Let's see. Who knows? I can't even read anything, you see. Catalytic converters. I said it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Catalytic converters. Thank you so much out there. And yes, I'm going to talk about another subject on the vaccine. And I brought this up. I don't believe it. It's not possible. I know you're going to say, Heshy, you're crazy, but I'm in the hospital all the time. COVID is not up. Listen to this one. They're saying that COVID, incredible immune evasive COVID variants, fuel reinfections in New York City. Hospitalization rate is up 35% this month. Ladies and gentlemen out there, is that true? Really, is that true? Tell me if that's true. Text me if that's true. I don't see it. I'm walking down the street. What they want to do is they want to bring mask mandates. They want to bring back fines. It's just crazy. And here it gets better. They say that 26,000 monkeypox vaccines are coming in because they have an overload of monkeypox something is going to be happening here. Really? Does anybody know of somebody that has the monkeypox? I only heard about 4 or 5 cases. Seems like that's the next big thing that's coming up. They want to control us, this new world order. You know, this guy, Klaus something from the bank, is telling us how the new world is going to be, how in 2030 they're going to have more control, how the World Health Organization is telling us what to do. What are you doing? Advise us. We're grown men and women. We're fathers, we're grandfathers. We've taken care of ourselves all these years. We've come up with the diseases, with the vaccines and the cures. We've come up to help our fellow man. We've come up to take care of our parents. We've learned how to live longer. We know how to take care of our mental health. But they make us crazy. They're allowing drugs for little children. What do you think when a guy smokes marijuana from 14, 15 years old? Do you think he's not going to have mental issues? You think he's not going to take this crack or cocaine or whatever, heroin? You think he's not going to flip out and try it? I see it all the time with the children on the street. You know, they complain about abortion. Heshy, which way do you go on abortion? I don't believe in abortion. I don't believe in it personally. Now, is abortion good? Now you're going to say, well, abortion should be illegal for everything, but in case of a rape, we can have abortion or incest. Listen to me, my friend. It's yes, yes, no, no. There's no games here. I'm not saying not to have it. You know, the gay community is having a problem now that why should we get married? We legalize it. Who needs to be married? That is correct. Why do they have to be married? What was their whole trick to be married so they could be equal? I have no problem that the gay people are equal. I like gay people. I mean, I like all people. But you don't have to be married because that's not the way it works. There's a lot of things that don't work this way. The same thing with abortion. The woman's right to choose whatever's in her body. When does life begin? Does life begin on inception? Does life begin when the person is born or when you hear a heartbeat? Very complicated issues, and it's something not for us to decide. It's for each person to decide. But I have a problem. Governor Hochul has given $35 billion to people not in our state. Each state should have their own agenda, you know, and now the government, when the law is made, the government can override the law. Even though the Supreme Court says now that it's not legal, the government says, well, we're going to find a way to make it legal and we don't care. It doesn't work like that. The law is the law only when you like the law. I don't know. Oh, his name is Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab. Yeah, another winner. These billionaires, and I don't mind they're billionaires. They can have all the money they want. Who are you to tell us what to do? Who are you to control us? Who are you to tell us where we could live and how we could live and what jobs we can have? This is what they're doing to us. They're telling us we must take the vaccine. Are you qualified? You're qualified to run a business. You're qualified to make money. You're not a qualified doctor. We need our regular medical professionals who take care of me every day. Do you know why I lost 52 pounds? Not because really I wanted it so much, which I did. My doctor, I sat with him. I said, I'm serious. How are you going to help me? When you are serious, the doctor will help you. He'll guide you. He'll explain to you what to do. Follow his instructions. Go to your doctor. Medical health in this country is great. Mental health, if you want, is great. My 2 nieces are mental health for children with special needs. Beautiful girls. There's no money for them. They get paid well, but they have to bill the people privately. Our government is giving billions of dollars to our churches and schools and organizations, and they're not giving it to us. They're driving their Cadillacs. They're running around. Half the soup kitchens, the administrators are living in mansions in Long Island. And they're cutting their budgets or they're using their money for different other stuff. And they're not giving us what we need. My soup kitchen is nutritious. We have soup and chicken and meals and packages. Again, there's only so much money we could do. But again, when the city gives the money, look at their package compared to the private organizations. We are doing 10 times better work than them. If not for the private sector, we would be in trouble. You need a guy, and I'm not pitching my run for next year's city council or this year's state senate. I'm pitching to you that you need a guy who's going to get up and say, look what this senator did. Nothing. Felder did nothing. Look at the vote came out and they made a deal. He's going to do this. If he does this, is that the way you make a deal? Is that the way you take credit for passing a bill? Who needs your bills? We have thousands and thousands of bills that have passed. Try to make them work. I don't know. Again, you're all going to think that, oh, look, Heshy is not serious. He's ranting and raving. I'm serious. I'm very serious. You know, I was telling a story to a lot of the people, and I think I might have said it. I had this girl I met in the hospital. I visited every day for 2 years. Beautiful, gorgeous girl, gorgeous. She was 31, a mother. She had cancer. And every day I went and told her my problems. I didn't want to hear her problems. A lot of times they're tired of telling you their problems and how sick and if they're going to die, if they're going to go home, their hip, the surgery, they're in pain. And they want to hear something funny. So I tell them about my son tricking me and my foot hurting me and Linda bothering me. And this young lady used to always give me advice. She was so happy when I came to give advice. You must give joy in this world. This is what I do, to give joy. Whether it's ranting or raving or screaming, but I'm giving you the issues of today, of this new world order that they don't care, that your politicians and your leaders are not leaders. When you're telling me that a leader is cheating on his wife or doing something bad, while we do the same thing, oh my God. But they are hired for government, they're hired for a different job. No, they are hired to be a leader, they're at a higher level. Maybe they made a mistake in the past. We can forgive that. But again, the way they live today is the proper way, is the way to respect. People think, and I have no problem with divorces, and people have to get divorced, but you have to try. You have to fight. Marriage is not an easy thing. I tell it to my children. I tell it to all the foster kids. I tell it to the many people that come by. I have a young boy now who's just scared to get married. Every time he's going with somebody close, oh my gosh. Oh, she's not good for me. Oh, she's too demanding. That is life. Living with somebody every day is a demanding job. You have to satisfy them and they have to satisfy you. I tell a lot of people, my father, who was a Holocaust survivor, and my mother, who was escaping during the war, and they lost a lot of family members. They fell in love. These were older, European, different old world people that you never really saw a lot of my friends' parents say, I love you, or hold hands. My father and mother had love. I saw it. They had a great marriage. My marriage is not that way. My marriage, I want it to be amazing. Not so much the love that we have, because I come home every night and I hold Linda's hand and we fight and argue. But I wanted it to be amazing because we know how to fight through the bad days. I was watching one of these newscasts, and this guy's telling this girl, it's not the first one, there's a few of them they've interviewed, about transgender. And the lady says, well, abortion is not only for women. So the senator asks, what do you mean it's not for women? Well, men can have abortions and transgender people can have abortions. Now, the guy was trying to question and she's arguing. I got to understand this, guys. Men cannot have abortions. Men cannot have babies. Transgender men who become women cannot have a baby, even if you artificially inseminate them. Please explain to me how this lady was arguing that women and men can have abortions. Let me see if I have another question or somebody gave me some advice. Oh, Heshy, you should book, I don't know, who knows? I don't know what it says, but Eric Adams. Let's talk about Eric Adams, okay? This guy, Eric Adams, is lost. He has no business sense. He was a police captain, which I hear bad things about him now, that he was lazy. He has no handle on crime. No handle on crime. I mean, you hear the numbers I gave you. He's completely lost. Our city is going to pot when we should have millions of tourists. We should have people flying into this city. We're not having it. Mayor Adams, what I think about him, so I would classify his mark right now, D-. I want to do another commercial. I want to try to get my favorite barber in. He's Boch's Barbershop, wonderful band. He's located at 108 Avenue I. You can reach Boch's Barbershop. He does great. But look at my hair. Yes, yes, he colors it. He doesn't color it. I don't care what you all say. You know what? I look good. He makes me look good. He makes me feel good when I go in there. He's not expensive. So you go to Boch's Barbershop located on 108 Avenue I. I know some of you live in Williamsburg and you don't want to travel in for a $20 haircut. This guy's great. You know, my wife goes for $400 hair, I don't know what she does, the beauty parlor. And I don't even see she cuts the hair. She just colors it and they blow dry it for her. Wow. Anyways, Boch's Barbershop, he cuts my hair, makes me look nice. You can reach Boch at 718-758-5187. Again, he's located at 108 Avenue I in Brooklyn, right off the F train. Or you can text or WhatsApp Boch personally to schedule your appointment at 347-845-9131. 347-845-9131. He has an app he puts you in, and he even texts you that it's time for a haircut. Coolest guy on the planet. Do you believe your barber sends you an email? Come on in to come get a haircut. Boch's Barbershop. The official singing barber. You can make an appointment at 347-845-9131, or you can call him at the barbershop at 718-758-5187. And then, of course, you have my company, which is Green Line Building Solutions, Preservation Development, Fire Department, Criminal Court, Department of Finance, ECB settlements, building consulting, violations removal, construction management, owner compliance, contracting, licensed, and I can go on and on. As design professionals, we're located at 202 Forster Avenue. Come on in, come ask for advice. We don't mind giving you advice for free or helping you or guiding you, and if you want us, we'll tell you. 718-871-0382, 718-871-0382, or you can email me at greenline531816@gmail.com. We're coming to the end of the show, so I'm going to give you my quick 10 minutes of crazy. And I want to tell you a couple things that are going on in the city. Manhattan sex predator linked to 3 attacks, and the cops now think that he's been doing it for a while. The cops now think he's been doing it for a while. Explain it. I don't know. Our detectives are doing what? A job in tracking down people who have a warrant for smoking marijuana or having a fight with their wife. This is what we're busy with. Go to the courthouses. You know, somebody has a fight with his kid right away. They call ACS and the courts are packed with nothing. You should go to a criminal court one day. Sit over there and you'd laugh. I went to help a kid that was double parking and idling his car. Just had his license. And they gave him a criminal ticket. We went there, the judge dismissed it at the end and gave him a $25 fine. This is what the criminal courts are busy with. This is what they're busy with. Listen to this. The former New York hospital chief sentenced for sexually abusing women while she was a patient. A former chief New York hospital was sentenced after sexually abusing patients, not patient, patients that he had been treating in the hospital. A man with autism beaten in a New York City building lobby by a rod-wielding attacker. Come on. They know how to catch you on a camera, and they don't know how to do this. New Yorker accused in a 125 punch attack on a 67-year-old woman gets a hate crime. New York City, no control. People are angry. Don't get me lost. Mental health is an issue. We should have more mental health to help these people. Instead, he's fighting crime, guns. You know, my friend Christopher Messi said to me, Heshy, guns are not the problem. It's the people. It's the illegal guns. You know, the war on drugs is not working. The war on guns, of illegal guns, is not working. Something we need to sit down and work with the people. If I would be elected, I would sit down in my community and bring in all the business owners and say, listen, we need to find a way that all of you create jobs. Create more jobs that people will want to work in, to help them, to guide them, to teach them. I've had so many employees that I've guided and taught and helped to move on to own their own businesses or to make higher salaries or to go to other companies. It's not only taking them in and training them, and yes, making them be loyal to you and giving them a long-term work if you can, but if not, give them training where they can go on and get better jobs, where they can grow and support their family. Making $15 an hour minimum wage increase, What are you going to really, can you pay rent, school, tuition, health insurance? So now you're taking from the state. Can you have a car? Can you go on vacation? Can you buy a new suit? Come on, you're making $750 when today a cheap suit today off the rack is $250 plus tailoring, $300 if you want to look good. Shirts today are $40. Look at this, $55 ties, and I hear the prices went up. I'm scared to buy a new tie. I'm telling Linda I got enough ties. This is what our city and economy has come to. Mr. Biden could release up billions and millions of barrels of oil and gas so we could live better. That's why we have those reserves for times like now. They want to make the world go green. And if you look at all the reports, please lower your electricity consumption because our grid can't handle it. But you want to increase the electric cars. You want to increase electricity to go green. So we can't use gas for cooking. We have to use gas for electric. We can't use gas for hot water and heat. We have to use electric. You think that's not going to push our power grids to the limit, which they are, which I don't know why we don't have more. If you're making us do that, why aren't you investing into that? Why aren't you building more electric grids all over the place? More power plants. Why are these power plants getting old and breaking down? I mean, you're talking we actually had a blackout across the northeast of the United States? Even once is crazy. Shouldn't we had a backup over a backup over a backup? You know it was a setup. You know there was a way to get into our computers, to reboot, to stop our passwords. I know, conspiracy, Heshy. I know, conspiracy. What should I tell you? Yes, I'm a Democrat. After this Senate election, I'm going to be changing to Republican. I'm hoping that you guys come out. My problem is you didn't come out. You didn't come out. You know, you have an election on August 23rd. Come out for Brian Robinson. You need him to win because you have a lot of leftists. You have a lot of people who are in the city council that are voting for crazy things. Crazy things. A budget that is $99 billion that I've reviewed with many professionals. About $20 billion of it is waste. You have an organization that just researches plaques, just researches mental health. Why research? Why not get into the mental health and hire professionals and let them start working on it, creating mental health buildings? Why are you building low-income housing and giving it to a Met Council that's only designed for charity and for music and arts and giving them $70 million to build low-income housing? What do they know about construction? What do they know about building and permits? What do they know about renting and running and management? I'll tell you what they know. They know how to take 20% off the top for themselves and giving it to all their people. Yes, maybe they knew how to manage and give out bids and do their paperwork. That's not what we need. We need guys who can do it good, better, not cheap, but a better price. Everything you should have seen on the budget for the Met Council was tripled. $70 million to build that project. We calculated it should have been more than $35 million. Where's the other $35 million? Where is it? I'll tell you where it is. Somebody's driving a Cadillac. Somebody has a mansion on Long Island. Mr. Greenfield has moved to Muncie, New York to a big house. How can he afford it on his small little salary, supposedly? Well, I don't know. He's doing well. Good for him, Met Council. I don't know who's donating money to them. I mean, a lot of their donors are stopping to give. A lot of their donors are saying they don't have money. You know how many people call you a day for charity? Come on, your phones ring, your mail comes. You're not giving everybody. Matter of fact, you're decreasing your charity level. You know that. It's harder. You got to put money away. Prices have increased. Where you going to be giving? Sure, you should give. You give your leftovers, your food. But you know you're not giving as much as you're supposed to. You can't. I'm not knocking it. And you think the bigger people are giving? You think the Met Council is creating more money? Today I was talking to an organization called Shmir, an organization that watches our community. And I gave them quite a good donation last year. And me and my son are going to increase our donation. We're trying to put away money for them. And I asked them for their support. He says, well, Heshy, we're so busy and prices have gone up and cars and maintenance and so on. He says, the money you gave us last year, we thought we'd have extra. I have an organization called Misaskin that when somebody passes away, they come to your house and they bring you chairs and all the religious artifacts and everything you need to sit and mourn for your family. Do you think that people give them money? 30% of the people that they service maybe give them back donations. The rest don't ignore them. And I feel bad because they do good and they help special needs kids and they make special parties and they do other stuff for people who have little kids that are orphaned. They come and help them and guide them and bring them food and put packages on their table or send them little stipends or stipends every single week, $100, $200. This is an organization. These are the people we have to support, and they're all private. They don't get government funding and money. Ladies and gentlemen, my show is over. The summer is here. I want you to go out and enjoy it. I don't want you to be scared of COVID. I don't want you to be scared of monkeypox. I don't want you to be scared of crime. I want you to protect yourself. They're out there. They're going to come get us. Yes, be good to your policemen. They're trying, but again, they have bosses. I mean, somebody must explain to me how you fire police officers, sanitation men, and hire Department of Building inspectors. I know about 20% of these inspectors that got religious exemptions. But when the police officers and sanitation tried to get it, they wouldn't approve it. Because the DOB was out there giving fines, not 25 or 200 like the cops, or 300. They were giving $2,000, $10,000, $25,000 COVID fines because you didn't have the book. Not that you did the job bad. If you don't have a COVID book, it was a $25,000 fine. If it wasn't filled in correctly, and they've pushed over these new regulations to when there's no COVID, and you still have to file these forms. Are you crazy? There's no more COVID. You know, I was at the BPJC barbecue, and even the politicians that got up on stage said, well, it's the end of the pandemic. It is end. None of them were wearing masks. Out of the 200-something people that I saw there, maybe 2 wore masks, and I made fun of them. I made fun of them. Today, people were giving blood in an open room. Nobody wore masks. Blood flying. It wasn't flying. But again, you're sticking somebody, they have germs or stuff coming out of them. It's going into bags. Tell me that you shouldn't wear masks. Nobody was wearing a mask. Nobody was dying. Nobody was getting diseased. And they still haven't stopped. Get up there, Mayor Adams, and stop it. Bring our city back to the old normal, the normal of freedom, of going to a park without shaking, leaving our parks open. Today, a lot of the schoolyards, which are public schools, which means public to the public use, they close their schoolyards to the local community. It's a park. What could the kids do there? Watch it, put cameras up. That's what the cameras are made for schools and parks. Not for city roads, where you know that the speedsters or the drag races have their license plates covered anyways. You're not going to catch them. So what? So a guy goes 5 miles over the limit, 7 miles over the limit on a 20-mile or 25-mile place, which originally was 35 miles? You're just doing it for the tickets. They even have this crazy new toll they're going to have in the middle of the city that if you drive across the city, you're told of driving across your own city. That means if you live on 54th Street and you're driving your car to go shopping on 90th Street, you're going to have to pay a toll to go out 20 blocks. Take a bus, they say. You carry packages and stuff on a box. You take your mother to the hospital in a train or a bus. I want to take her in a taxi or a car. So now it costs more money. Of course, the prices go up. It's all about the money, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about the money. Follow the money. If that's what you want, politicians like Mr. Ringel, who actually was elected just because the money was promised. And the guy told me, he says, Heshy, we were promised $160 million. I said, what are you going to do with the money? Well, we have programs. And I said, come on, I know your special needs programs. I help a lot of the kids in your organization. You give them $15 for the hour when it costs them $115 or $130 now. You're not giving them the money. You didn't increase anything for them. Landlords cannot evict their people. And if they do, it takes 6 or 8 months. People can't pay rent because of jobs. You're telling me that there's so many jobs out there. There's not enough jobs. I have 3 or 4 people living in certain buildings that are calling me every time, helping them to look for jobs. They can't find the jobs. Or if they get a job, it's $15 an hour and they're paying $950 for a basement apartment rent. Now you tell me what $750, you need at least 1 week's payroll to cover your rent, not 2 weeks. How are you going to eat when you have 2 children? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our city is lost. But do you think I'm going to give up on it? You think I'm going to run away? I'm never. I'm going to keep running for election. Maybe I'll get elected. Maybe I'll get in there. And I will show you the corruption and the politics and the games being played. Maybe they're not stealing money, but they got to be getting something. There's no way that a assemblyman could be living on $125,000 a year with 5 children. There's no way in the city of New York. And he's constantly traveling and running and taking calls and not going home to the family. You're talking, of course, there's something on the side happening. Of course, they're collecting money for their campaign accounts, and they get to keep it at the end, $5 or $6 or $7 million at the end. And that's how they get paid. Guys like Leon Goldenberg and all these big developers, they give money to these big politicians, and they never spend it. They're constantly in court or getting other people off the ballot, and they're winning their case, and they just sit there for 30, 40 years, and nobody runs against them, unopposed. I mean, just imagine Nadler gets elected again. This guy's running for Congress again. The man spent millions of dollars to get Trump impeached. We know that the Russian collusion was false. We know it. And still he kept running it. I mean, anybody with common sense knew that. The January 6th thing, the way I'm watching it, there was no way to open those doors. Somebody opened them from the inside. It was a setup. And even so, you didn't see them running rampant with guns or doing anything. What they do, they should have been allowed in. You should have had the doors open with security, like anywhere else. There's something going on. They wanted the disruption because maybe Mike Pence was considering on not voting. But once this happened, he did. And I agree. Mike Pence had no right to at all change the election results, no matter what, even though he had that power. But the way it works in America is we transfer of power with the vote. And we couldn't prove that the election was false or a setup. Again, I needed my ID today to give blood. I couldn't give blood unless I had an ID. But you can go vote without an ID. You can fill out a form and sign somebody's paperwork without an ID. Somebody's got to explain that to me. You got to explain that to me. You can't get on a plane without an ID. A plane. What do you mean I can't get on without it? I bought the ticket. I paid for the ticket. They want to see your ID. They check you up and down. You need to show ID. Okay, you have my name. You have my manifest. I sent it in beforehand. No, you have to have your ID, and you got to show it like 3 or 4 times. You got to go into certain stores. You got to have your ID. You got to show your vaccine card to go into a restaurant. But again, to go vote, you don't need an ID. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends and constituents, I'm going to be running. I don't know how I'm going to get on that ballot, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep fighting. And I'm going to keep serving my community, doing my local work, taking in children, going to the hospitals and jails, continue my soup kitchen, and continue informing you on a daily basis of what's going on. And still doing my job, and still trying to pay my bills, and going home every night to my amazing super-duper wife, Linda. Come on back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping to be back next week. Watch my little clips. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening to my show. I know that maybe you got a little bored with me alone over here and not with all my co-hosts to make fun of. Thank you so much. Heshy Tishler signing off. Good night. Have a great week and stay safe.